What's up, and welcome to the Uncle Cyborg Show, where we talk about our favorite things about video games while keeping it rated E for everyone. I am Super Nolan Man, and joining me is Dat Boy Few, aka Matthew Daniels.
I did it. The haters thought it would never happen. Someone voted for my pick in the draft.
Wow.
We're so happy for you, Matthew. And also, we got the Hyrule King himself, Bo Mitchell.
Ooh.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Who said it?
And today,
What's this?
Today we are
Hey.
continuing our series where we are drafting the best 5-game library of all of our favorite consoles. Right now we're moving through the Nintendos, and today we are talking about the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. If you want to see what we've done so far, we've got a playlist on our channel. We'll link it down below, but while you're here, let's start with this. As always, we're doing a snake draft, and this time we're going to be starting with Bo, then Matthew, then myself.
Yay.
It'll snake back around where I will start the next round off, and it will work its way back up to Bo. Without further ado, we will hop right to it. Bo, go ahead and kick us off with the first pick of the draft.
It's gonna be a hard draft. I'm just gonna put that out there right now, because man, yeah. I'm gonna take one of my favorite 2D Zelda games right now, before anybody else does. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX.
Okay.
Oh man.
Hey, I'm glad you did DX.
Such a
Good man.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. The original, not even worth my time. DX is where it's at. That you get the whole new color dungeon. It's good stuff.
Color Dungeon, an underrated edition.
Yeah, it's excellent game. I think the story is really interesting for a handheld game, and it plays really well. There's a lot of fun items, and I think it holds up really well. There's a reason that it was remade. Yeah, it's an excellent game.
All right. Matthew, you got us
Okay.
next.
For me, there's one I was thinking, but I don't think I'm going to go for it right here. Just because I know Nolan, I don't know if this one will make it back around to the second round. I'm going to draft Tetris on the Game Boy.
Yeah,
Good call.
A
Good
lot
call.
of
I knew
people's
that was gonna
best
be, like,
Tetris
round one.
version.
really fun version.
It-
Yeah,
I mean, it's, in my opinion, best version of old school Tetris for sure. I mean, I don't know if you've got more to say about that.
I'm an NES
but
Tetris
Not
guy
really, because I'm
myself.
bad at it. But if I'm on a Game Boy, I don't really want to be playing it anyway. So I might as well play something that could be a little fun.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I would say it's the definitive, not necessarily the best version of Tetris, but it was the best version of Tetris at that time, for sure. I mean, now you've got Tetris Effect and so many better ways to play it, but like if we're talking about the definitive, like that is where Tetris became a thing. That's where the Game Boy took off. It really was not going to go down well
Console seller.
without Tetris there.
Yeah.
I mean, my nieces are now they discovered their dad's old Game Boy and have been playing Tetris a ton since then. So,
I just didn't know if it would make it
Understandably,
back to me into
a
second.
good pick. No, it wasn't going to make it back. So now I've got to pick
Yeah,
something
no,
else.
he would have
But
taken it right here.
Let's go.
Nolan loves Tetris on Game Boy.
Well, now we can't play it.
it's true. Yep, I'll never get to play it again. But hey,
Never
that means that I'm going to be able to pick up. Here's the thing.
I know what you're gonna pick already.
You do know what I'm going to pick. 'Cause here's the thing.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead and lump
Link's
them together.
Awakening.
That's what I would do.
nah, I'm gonna leave them separate.
Really?
But
Alright,
I am
alright.
gonna, because they're still technically two different games, and one of them is better
True.
than the other. Now, here's the thing: Link's Awakening, an excellent Zelda game, made by the Link to the Past team, who wanted to just port Link to the Past to Game Boy, but then
Ocarina of Time ideas in there.
and Capcom would eventually take a look at that game, find what made that game so great and said, what if we just did that, but much, much better? And on the Game Boy Color, they released Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. I am very much partial to Oracle of Seasons. I love the season mechanic.
Really?
I love that real-time
I am
shift
more
that
of an
happens
Ages
there.
guy.
A lot of people are, but Oracle of Seasons, a
Season's
lot
so
of
cool.
people say that Seasons is the combat focused one and that Ages is the puzzle focused one. I disagree. I think that Seasons
Kind
does
of.
both of them very well. I think the reason
Yeah.
Ages gets that reputation as the puzzle one is because of how much like you how it the time shenanigans with what you do here. You have to go here and do this thing, then go
Yeah.
back forwards in time, do this, now go back. And while that's super
Yeah, there's a lot
cool,
of backtracking.
a lot of it gets a little bit too obtuse after a while, and I thought Seasons was really consistent all the way throughout, as well as having the coolest array of items of the entire series, in my opinion. But
Season's
with the
mechanic's pretty
next,
cool. I'll give you that.
yep. Now, with the next pick of the draft, oh, which of these do I want to take?
Now it gets hard.
I'm going to go ahead and do it, much to Matthew's chagrin.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors.
Wow.
Matthew did not think I was going to take this. He thought it was going to still be around when it came back to him.
It's right here, and I'm taking it off.
Yep. This is what I thought Matthew was going to take first round, and that I was going to take Tetris. But since he took Tetris, I went ahead and took Legendary Super
A lot of
Warriors.
people like.
I am surprised.
A lot of people really like this game.
Well, the reason a lot of people like this game is this was the first good Dragon Ball Z game that was available. I mean, it's card combat in it, but it's it's better than the DBZ collectible card game that would come later. But the encounters and how they set everything up is really cool because you will still have you're playing as this character versus this character, but then you get the related card arrangement ahead of time. And I mean, I was absolutely getting my teeth kicked in when I got to Namek. The Ginyu Force always derailed all my progress there. It is tough. I mean, this was before we really had easy modes and stuff like that. A game that could really use an easy mode, but I mean, it's still iconic for all the DBZ fans who are actually around and playing games at this time.
This one, I would love a remake of this game just so it could like have a tutorial.
Oh right,
because like it's rock paper scissors essentially, but it's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, you have all your costs and
and there's movement and whatnot. And hard game, good game.
Yep. All right, Matthew.
So
takes away with the second pick of the second round of the draft.
That was actually probably going to be my third pick, and the reason why I have it narrowed down to two here. The one I'm not going to pick that one because it's objectively a better game, but I like this one more. I'm taking Pokemon Yellow.
So here's the one thing about what you said, Matthew, is that Pokemon Yellow is the only 10 out of 10 Pokemon game, and I would argue it's the only 10 out of 10 game on any of the Game Boys.
Wow. I always thought people like Crystal more.
I agree. Losers.
Wow. Well,
just kidding, because I'm going to need these losers to vote for me in a little bit here.
But being able to, like, because when we were eventually able to watch Pokemon, I think we actually got the Game Boy game before we got where we watched the TV show, but it follows essentially the original run of the anime. Or I don't know if the anime follows this or this follows the anime, but the point is, you get Pikachu instead of picking your starter, and then you
follows the anime.
He follows behind you, and then you're pretty much living it up in the anime world as Team Rocket, like the Team Rocket we know and whatnot. As in, I think Mewtwo was in this one.
Mewtwo was in the original as well, though. But yeah,
wow,
yeah.
They're minus games.
No, but the big difference about this one is you get a slightly different mix of which Pokemon show up, which is always what happens when you get the third version of it. Yeah. But what was so cool is you're exactly right. How much it made that anime experience come to life, and you got to experience Kanto through the eyes of basically Ash Ketchum, where you had Pikachu actually falling around, which was major, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't see that again until decades later in the series.
Sure.
But you had him there, and you also had a lot of the same beats that you had in the anime with okay, you're gonna get Squirtle at and he's in trouble with the cops. You're gonna have Charmander who is being neglected. Uh, it was so cool that you picked up that trio as you went along there, and you got to have all three of them in one game. Yeah, Yellow is always going to
Yeah,
be
for
my
sure.
favorite Pokemon, and
Yeah.
I am disappointed that you took it, but I understand why you had to do it.
Had to
Yeah.
do it to him.
Had to do it. Oh man, now I have a really tough decision. Do I double dip
You double
on
dip.
Zelda? I mean, it's my namesake. I have to do it, man.
You had to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the next one being Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages. Man,
Hmm.
basically the exact reason that Nolan mentioned of like the differences is why I like Ages a bit more.
Hmm.
I am definitely more of a puzzle guy when it comes to Zelda. And I feel like Ages has slightly better puzzles, not by like a long shot. They're very similar, but I think I also liked from what I it's been a couple years since I played it, but I think I liked the dungeons in Ages a bit better too. Um, yeah, I'm definitely more into. I think while Seasons has a cool mechanic with the changing of the seasons,
Hmm.
it's kind of limited because it's a Game Boy game. I'd really love to see that mechanic come back in like an actual like 3D Zelda game. That would be cool. Like you could do some really cool stuff with that.
Yeah,
It's kind
in
of limited on
season
Game Boy, which is
a little
unfortunate.
bit in seasons, here's the big difference for me between Seasons and Ages. And again, why I think Seasons is a far more consistent game throughout, what Ages really has going for it that not a lot of people think about is that Ages time mechanic is actually a consistent part of the game in terms of solving puzzles
Yes,
and discovery. Whereas
I
in
love that.
Seasons, it's really just used. There are a couple secrets that are hidden behind getting the right combination of seasons to a place, but for the most part, the Rod of Seasons is really just there as a tool for progression in the game, and
Yeah,
making sure you
it
can
just
access
unlocks
certain
everyone there.
areas.
Yeah,
And it doesn't play as much of a key focal part to your adventure like the age mechanic does. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, you're not wrong to double dip here. I I would
I
if I
love
could have
Zelda,
done it,
man.
I
I
would have.
can't. I can't.
I thought about doing it myself.
Yeah.
Just a quick
Yeah.
question,
And
real
then for
quick,
my next.
about that.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Was this something they did because of, like other games at the time were starting to do two copies of it, or is it more really more unique, completely different
So
ideas?
they
Originally,
are.
they were gonna do three,
Oh, okay.
but
Yep.
they
It,
had to cancel the other one due to time constraints.
okay.
Yep.
That's cool.
And these two games are not, they're not two versions of the same game.
Yeah.
They are two
Very
fully
different.
unique Zelda games with different enemies, um,
I feel like they could have named them a
different
little
set of
different.
characters.
It confused me.
Well, because you're going to have your three oracles and they're going to be each after. Well, and as a kid, I confused it with Ocarina. So then I kept calling Ocarina of Time Oracle of
Dude,
Time.
same thing happened to me. I would put in A Link to the Past, and I'd be shocked that it wasn't Ocarina of Time. I'm
Yeah,
like, why
yeah.
Oh,
not?
that's funny.
Yeah. So but anyways, these are not two versions of the same game. They're just two entirely uniquely
Okay,
different games. And honestly, I think that both of these games could easily be considered top 10 Zelda games.
nice.
Yeah, they're definitely really solid 2D games. All right. So my second one, oh man, yeah, I gotta go with it because I think this game is excellent. Super Mario Land 2, Six Golden
Okay,
Coins.
okay.
I thought about doing Pokemon, but I'm gonna shake it up and do platformer instead. Uh, I love the theming of this game, and having Wario as the villain is very
Mhm.
fresh. and feels very fun. Of course, you have classic areas like the Mario robot. It's pretty fun, and the level everybody always jokes about, the balls level, which is yeah, I absolutely wild. Like you would never see a Nintendo do that. Like have like a robot where you go to the like balls of a robot, hit select, and there's just balls everywhere. Wild stuff. Yeah. Anyway, enough talking about that. Um, I love the wing cap in this game. I think it works really well with handheld, and it feels a lot better than Land One. You can tell they learned a lot of lessons from that, and just made a better platformer. And yeah, playing this now, it actually holds up. Whereas Land One is kind of like, there's a lot of growing pains there. So.
Yeah, 6 golden coins is my blind spot for the Game Boy. That's one that I've always looked around to pick it up, and the one time I've ever actually come across it, it was a little more than I was willing to spend that day, but definitely went out to pick up sometime. Well, Matthew, go ahead and take us on with the second pick of the third round.
I'm actually going to take this one. I was holding this out for the fifth because I know there was no anybody was drafting it, but I want to see if any of these other ones I'm unsure of get taken so they can kind of force my hand. I think I've mentioned in pretty much every draft, I think, Scooby-Doo. I've done it again. Scooby-Doo classic creepy capers for the Game Boy Color. It's
amazing.
It's based
Absolute
on
cinema.
Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? It's based on the episode. It's called Nowhere to Hide. Hide spelled like, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a side-scrolling. I think it's like like the category it says is point and click. I don't know how that works. I never played it, I'll be honest, but it looks pretty fun from what I looked up in the gameplay. You can play as all the characters, but you're like playing out a Scooby-Doo episode on the handheld. There's 2 versions. There's this one and the N64 version, and people like pretty widely favor this one over it. It's you kind of, it's like you're watching it on your screen, kind of the way it does. It's hard to explain, but being able to have that on the Game Boy,
episode format.
I would
That's pretty cool.
dig that. It has like it's like a full on adventure on your Game Boy, so it's got like the dialogue and stuff, and it's I think somehow they incorporated laugh tracks or something. I don't know exactly how that worked, but I haven't checked this one out yet. I'm gonna check it out now, and you should too. Scooby-Doo, classic creepy capers for the Game Boy Color.
Nice.
All right. Then for myself, I'm going to pick the greatest Pokemon game of all time. If you've ever heard anyone say something different, just ignore them. Pokemon Crystal. And here's the thing. Crystal builds on what is already a very strong foundation. I mean, Yellow was essentially...
mess with you.
Yeah, Yellow is essentially an upgraded version of Red and Blue, right? Which themselves were kind of rough around the edges, limited in your movement pools, broken mechanics like crits tied to speed, psychic types being overpowered. But Crystal, by contrast, built on Gold and Silver, which were just leaps ahead. You have 100 new Pokemon, you have breeding, held items, the day-night cycle, and plus 2 full regions to explore. I mean, Yellow, charming. You have Pikachu, adorable. You have your anime nods like Jesse and James, but it was basically still the same story as Red and Blue. Crystal, meanwhile, has your deeper mechanics, more Pokemon to experiment with, a broader world, and then after you beat Johto's 8 gyms, you still have Kanto waiting, plus that legendary showdown with Red on Mount Silver there. So that kind of scope made Crystal endlessly replayable in a way that Yellow just can't match up to.
I've seen him play Pokemon Yellow. I've never seen him once in my life play Pokemon Crystal. I'm pretty sure if I go to his house, I'm pretty sure I know exactly where in his house Pokemon Yellow's sitting right now. It's on the shelf. It's in the bag full of Game Boy games he got.
It is, and it's not. There's Pokemon Crystal. Oh, but I've got these kids figured out. I've got them wrapped around my finger. They're gonna vote for me again. You wait and see.
Wow.
I've got these kids figured out. I've got this games down stat. Yeah. Yeah, these kids, these 20 to 35-year-old men from the US, plus 1 from Canada, plus 1 from the UK. But anyways. Well, all
right, what's your second pick, Buster?
Yeah, Buster.
Well, Do I want to take? Oh, which one of these do I want to go to? I
I don't know. Where it gets tough. It's where it gets tough.
All right, I'll do it. I'm gonna go Metroid 2.
All right. I had a feeling you might. Yeah.
Return of Samus. Yeah, I had to do it, and it, 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 there's a couple that I was stuck between. I went ahead and went for this here because it was still on there. I honestly was expecting it to get this far. I figured that Bo would have picked it up by now, but most Game Boy titles at this point are very short,
Metroid
simple.
2
They're
is
designed
just-
for yeah, they're designed for pick
Original
and
as
play. Mhm. But so Metroid 2 is very sprawling compared to most other Game Boy games at this time. I mean, you had a lot of games that would try to go the adventure route, and they really just can't compare. I mean, you had a couple adventure RPGs, and unless it was really an RPG, you just couldn't really do exploration very well. And that they were able to do exploration with such limited hardware here, and uh, and to do it so well, all things considered. I don't think that this is necessarily the best of the 2D Metroids. I think that the version that was done by I always want to say it's Grezzo, but that's not right. It's oh the folks who did
Remake on-
Dread.
Yeah.
The remake that happened on 3DS
I am blanking on their
really
name. I know
fixed
who
a
you're
lot
talking
of what it's gonna
That
bug me a
remake is
lot.
incredible. It's great.
But yeah, but it also really brought story to Metroid in a way that just wasn't there in the first game. There's a little bit of it, right? But this is like what really got uh a lot of the things that would carry on through the other games introduced. But again, unlike a lot of games that tried to be like we're going to give you the handheld version of a console game. Outside of Zelda, I feel like this was the only one that was able to really deliver on the console experience put in your hand.
Cool.
But anyways, let's turn back over to Huey D. What you got for us?
All right. Mine, pretty simple here. I'm going to draft Kirby's Dream Land. I
That's what I was. That's what I was going back and forth
am
between.
partial to Kirby. I always liked him. I liked his Game Boy game. I'm a big fan of his work. I will admit,
Big fan of his work.
the Game Boy ones are not very good. But they're still better than a lot of other stuff you're gonna find on the Game Boy.
I am really surprised you picked this one.
Because it's Kirby's debut. It's the debut of the OG. I had to do it. I like the kind of simplicity, I guess you could say. Some of the new stuff being the stuff that was immediately after, it just got a little too much for me. Like Kirby, what's it called? What's the one with the phone?
Oh.
You know, that's for the Game Boy Advance. Point is, too much going on. This one, I just go boop, 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 across the screen. There's not many platformers I do like. This is actually one of them. So
I was trying to think if Kirby's Dream Land 2 had a phone. I'm not sure what the phone is
think
about.
you're talking about it like Nightmare in Dreamland or whatever it's called.
no, it's
No, that's a GBA.
Yeah, it's a
That's
GBA
what
game.
he said GBA. Anyway.
Point is, there you go.
There you go. All right. So I'm gonna go with something similar. So, which is why I made this comment.
Kirby's Tilt and Tumble, Matthew.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't
That's
even
what
know
I'm
what
gonna
that
go
game
with.
is.
Kirby's
Oh!
Tilt and Tumble.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit of a. So full disclosure, one of my favorite SNES games is Kirby Dream Course. Nolan and I played it a ton. Excellent game. This is basically that, but with tilt controls, and it actually works really well. Like, oh man, it's such a blast. You like roll all around, you're going like this, and like you have it's almost like you're in a pinball table, but you're like tilting it. That's the best way to describe it. And you're like collecting stars, and like use bumpers to jump up and go over the ramp. It's really cool. It's kind of incredible that they actually got this to work with the tilt control things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great game.
That's a good pick. I'm kind of glad you picked it up because it's one that I wasn't going to do because I'm planning on going a different direction. But it deserves the respect here for doing. I mean, these gyro. I mean, it feels like the way that you would expect it to feel on if you were to play like an iPhone game today that has tilt
Yeah.
mechanics in there. It
Yeah.
works exactly like that. In a way
Got really
that
solid controls.
you really wouldn't get until like a drill dozer and
I always forget about drill dozer.
WarriorWare Twisted on the
Yeah.
GBA, and I think even though it's not as, I don't think it's necessarily as impressive standing next to those, but
Yeah.
again, you're looking at the time this came out. Well, granted,
Yeah.
I know it's only a couple years difference, but the hardware is what I'm talking about specifically.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All right, and for my second one, oh man, this is tough. I'm kind of like torn between two. All right. I know what I'm going for. I'm going to pick Shantae as my next
Ah,
one.
no.
Yeah,
I
man,
should.
underrated platformers. This is like one of the cult classic games on there. Really good pixel art for the time period, and the controls are really great. It's got a fun theme with Shantae. Uh, I don't know if I am ever saying that right, but anyway.
Shantae.
Shantae, yeah.
Shantae's in front of me.
Yeah, whipping the hair like almost like Simon's whip, but
Almost
with the
like
hair
Will Smith.
is pretty great. Yeah, underrated GBC game.
All right, Big Noah, do you want to do a summary?
Forgot that. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I missed the
Oh.
summary on the last one, but let me go ahead and give what we had up until this point. So Bo's team before this: Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX, Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, Kirby's Tilted Temple, Matthew with Tetris, Pokemon Yellow, Scooby-Doo Classic Creepy Capers, and Kirby's Dream Land, and myself with the Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons, Dragon Ball Z, Legendary Super Warriors, Pokemon Crystal, and Metroid 2: Return of Samus. Now that Bo is picking up Shantae, I've got to plot. Matthew, while I'm plotting, go ahead and grab something.
All right, this is a franchise that I
Messed up his plan.
recently had some experience with. I haven't had a whole lot of time in it, and I haven't played this one. It's gonna be one of the few times where I draft a game that I haven't played. I'm gonna be drafting Lufia: The Legend Returns. It is the
I thought about this one.
follow up to Lufia 2: Rise of the Sinistrals, and you're talking on a Game Boy Color. I have a lot of games here. I know Pokemon Yellow takes some time to get through. Tetris, Kirby, Scooby-Doo, those are play for maybe an hour, right? The game is probably about 30 hours, probably closer to 45, 50 if you want to do everything. Take your time, but I was never, they have Dragon Quest ports and stuff. I just don't feel like those are very fun. I feel like Dragon Quest got better, like kind of late into
Dragon
it.
Quest 3 is at least decent.
Yeah, but it's still
played
kind of that. At least the Game Boy Color port, like it's kind of still that. I don't know how to describe it. That combat where you're just kind of like
It's not quite as good.
Yeah, you're not. It's kind of. It still has that old combat. This, at least, steps it up. If I'm going to be playing an RPG on the Game Boy Color, this is going to be the one I'm going to be playing.
Yeah, outside of Pokemon Crystal, right?
Yeah, I don't consider Pokemon RPGs. I know they technically are, but I don't really view them in the same
Kind
way.
of like, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I was plotting over here. You said Dragon Quest 3?
No, Lufia,
No, he didn't.
Legend Returns. Did I say?
Yeah.
Lufia, the Legend Returns. Honestly, you pulled a pretty deep cut there. I think this is the first time that
Pretty
a game
solid
has
game.
been pulled in one of these that I've never heard of before.
I've
But-
always heard this one's good.
All right.
One of them cult favorite series that just kind of fell off after the early mid 2000s.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Right,
since I don't have Shantae, which is one of my it may be my favorite platformer of the era that's not in some kind of way a port. I'll be honest, I'm not a big Kirby's Dream Land guy.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Honestly, I'm not either.
I am going to
you guys
take
play Zelda,
my
that's why.
next platformer, and here's the thing. Imagine a platformer where you can't jump. Well, that's what it was like to play Bionic Commando. In Bionic Commando
Your own
Elite
commando?
Forces, was a
Interesting pick.
again a masterclass of taking a console franchise and putting it to handheld. I mean, so yeah, Bionic Commando stood out because you can't jump. You have to master the bionic arm, the grapple to swing, climb, and fight. And so on the Game Boy Color, Elite Forces keeps that hook-based movement, but modernizes it with some really smooth controls. Because I'll be honest, I can't play the other Bionic Commandos games, but the one on the Game Boy, things were so much tighter. Really smooth controls. There's a certain locomotion to it that you really don't get out of a lot of early games, where one movement leads into another, and you don't feel like you're getting stuck after each movement. Like the way that we praise Insomniac now for how in each of their games they build it to where you can just keep moving and moving and moving. This was a game where you were able to do that at a time where that was still really difficult to do. And not to mention the action. This is probably for my money, probably the best straight up action that you're not getting out of just a straight up adventure game and stuff like that. Because again, you have your Zeldas, you have your Metroid, but for just straight up action, and it is some interesting platforming, hard to beat a game like this.
Surprised he didn't pick Wario Land 3.
I think we've talked before about how I feel about
I'm messing with
a lot of Wario games. Well, I'll be honest, I don't think I played Wario Land 3. The only Wario games I've played are Wario's Woods and Wario Land 4, outside of the WarioWare games, which is
that's what I was
totally
going
different.
back and forth with was Wario Land 3 and Shantae.
Well, you should have picked Wario Land 3, so I could have taken Shantae, but it's too late for that. But anyways, let's go ahead and recap here before we close out. So we've got... Oh, I lost it. So we've got Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. Oh, this is Bo's team. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Kirby's Tilt and Tumble, and Shantae. Matthew.
Very nice.
Has picked up Tetris, Pokemon Yellow, Scooby-Doo Classic Creepy Capers, Kirby's Dream Land, and Lufia, The Legend Returns. He could be making up a game here and I wouldn't know.
You want to see my draft board? This is all I had written down coming in here. Draft Scooby-Doo no matter what.
I can totally read that.
I was actually able to read that. And then myself with The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors, Pokemon Crystal, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Bionic Commando Elite Forces. So, now it is up to you, the audience, to decide who won. If you haven't already watched the previous videos, we have a playlist available so that you can watch through them and you can vote for your faves. Don't leave us, because we're going to come back and we're going to be doing Nintendo 64 next.
Woo.
Yep. So you got to click that subscribe button if you want to be notified. What's that, Matthew?
There's going to be about 3 games drafted for that one.
For the Nintendo 64?
Yep.
What are you talking about? Get out of here.
All right. I want you guys to vote based on me and Bo's teams, comments. And then I want you to vote on Matthew's based on what you think his opinion on the Nintendo 64 is. But otherwise, that's good.
Remember what Nolan said about Crystal.
Yeah, Anyways, if you think Matthew's wrong about the Nintendo 64, I want you to click like and subscribe on this video.
Wow.
If you agree with Matthew that the Nintendo 64 is a bad console, I want you to dislike and click off. We don't need you here anyways.
Wow.
But I'm
hate.
teasing. I'm teasing. But anyways, that is going to do it for us this week. Again, I've been Super Nolan Man, joined by Dat Boy Few and the Hyrule King, and you all can have a great week.